thanks, Damadina. That was just really lovely to hear your experience. I feel like I learned so much from you as well, kid. Yeah. Just want to sort out my notes. Yeah. So I'd like to start by telling you my background. I was raised up in Austria, and I was raised up in a really lovely, supportive family. Actually, I was raised up in this Christian community. So I was around community since I can think of, actually, and felt the support of community since I'm a small child. And I moved to London 2 years ago because it was my dream to do an apprenticeship in tailoring, and that's why I came to London in the first place. So I came to the Buddhist Center a bit longer than 2 years ago, also for a yoga class. And I remember when I entered the LBC the first time, and you could just feel like this sense of community spread around everywhere, and the friendship and the friendliness of everyone. And at that time, a friend of mine, she was on the team for the yoga class, and she was holding the Dana bowl. And I just had that immediate response of, oh, I want to hold the Dana bowl. I want to be part of this. I just came back to the center, and eventually grew into the community and became part of the community. Actually, a year ago was my mitra ceremony, so it's really lovely occasion to give this talk a year later now. So it was last year at the urban retreat when Suprajamati came up to me in the tea break afterwards, asking me if I would like to live in a community. And I remember asking her, what do you mean? What does it mean to live in a community? Can you give me a bit more information about that? So she told me about the community she is living in and Damadina is living in. There are 12 women living together in a house, and she said we're cooking for each other, we have community night, and she said it's just a really lovely, really lovely environment to live in. I felt like that sounds really cool. That sounds really alive, something about alive. But I thought also, like, how do 12 women fit in one house? They must have really small rooms or something like that. It took me a while, actually. Well, it took me a couple of months to really commit to to say to Suprajamati, I really want to live in a community, because something about like the commitment to live in a community and live my life full on in a community felt a bit scary in the beginning, like giving up party and I guess my bit unskillful. But funny enough, we just had like five birthday parties in October in the community, so party's not over. Yeah. So I moved into the community twice, actually, because I moved there the first time for 3 months while Gauravati was on her ordination retreat. So I moved there this April the first time, and it's a really flourishing, colourful time because it was spring and you could just see, we have this huge garden and you could just see every day I came down there was another flower just blooming up. And I think that's how I felt over those 3 months. Just every day I could just feel like there's something new in me flourishing, opening up. And that sense, well, I was carrying that sense with me into my really stressful work at that time. And I think something about that eye really opened up more through the community. Everyone else at my workplace also could just be more themselves. Yeah, I remember it was a really happy time and really joyful and full of laughter, and yeah, just coming home and getting a warm food because someone else cooks for you, it just made my whole day much easier. I didn't have to cook in the evening for myself. It just really suited me. Yeah, and still today actually I woke up because my room is in this sort of triangle, so I'm sleeping, like there's a room next to me and there's a room behind me and there's a room above me, and I could just hear Sarah laughing in her room, and that's how I woke up, because she was just she was just having a good time, obviously. Yeah, so a lot of joy and a lot of warmth. So I was quite upset when I moved out after the 3 months again. We were like, oh, why don't we have another room? I was saying I could sleep in a tent in the garden. I don't mind. I just want to continue living in that way. And then eventually, end of the summer, I got the opportunity to move in permanently in this community, where I'm now. And it's a bit, I feel like it's a bit changed now in a way that I feel more like part of it, or maybe I take more responsibility now, because during the 3 months I was always thinking, I'm gonna move out anyway again, so I don't have to take on so much responsibility or bring myself in so much. But now I really feel like, okay, well, you got to also bring your values with it, which is an interesting experience to bring my values of home into the community. But yeah, I feel like now it feels like also, especially the last month after Bante died, I really felt the sense what community actually means. So when he died, I was fortunate enough that I had so much time on my hands, which was never the case. Was never the case in the 3 months before. And I found myself sitting in the shrine room with other community members on the day when he was dying, and I just felt this huge sense of community spread all over the world, that everyone in the world is thinking about Bante. And I don't know if other Buddhists experience that when a teacher dies, and you just feel so connected through over the whole world. And I didn't have the chance to meet Bante in person. Unfortunately, I made his birthday card this year. That was nice, and helped actually also sewing his robe, which he was wearing then. But yeah, just the way people were talking about him in the community, sharing their experience and sharing their memories with the community and with me, just made me really feel that I knew this man, and that I've met him before. And always when I hear the longer Alderman was talking about him, it feels like, I would be so loving it in his 70s to be sitting in one of those shrine rooms. So that sense that I actually met him, I think was mainly because of the community and being part of the community. What I wanted to say now. Yeah, I think I would like to finish off with a poem I was writing down in those 3 months while I lived there. It's a really short one. Community life. A garden full of blooming flowers, a house full of colorful women. I feel safe, I feel joyful, I feel at home. Thank you.